About states that are becoming more and more blue. So we did one about Republican states. We talk about states becoming more and more blue, and the first state is the state of Kansas. Kansas is a very strange state, we all know, but yeah, Kansas is a very strange state. But for some reason, the Democrat governor won re-election. like, yeah, but I think Kansas as a state is drifting towards the Democrats. Even have the voter registration for Kansas, and places like District 3, which was designed to become more Republican. Democrats still won by 12, and they did worse. They did better in places like Wichita and Tobacco, the Republican senator. But again, this guy is an incumbent, and incumbents in this midterm typically do better. But this is a state that is becoming more Democrat as time goes on. Unless Republicans can somehow manage to do better in places like Wichita, Kansas, and Tobacco, and do much better in Kansas City and these Democrat areas, yes, you will expect more performances like this in the future. I think by the time like states like New York become more competitive, you have a place like Kansas that will somehow become competitive as well. Because Kansas is becoming more and more competitive states as the time goes by. Obviously, of course, the senator he won by a large point, which means there was a lot of tickets played in many of these counties. Which means the governor of Kansas is not that unpopular, but Kansas is just a strange state as well. Well, and yeah, this is a state that is becoming more Democrat. So yeah, first state down. Number 2 is Arizona. The Arizona GOP is the number one. Is the people to blame for this? And also many California. This is basically every Californian's favorite retirement home, and many left-leaning Californians have basically flipped Maricopa County, which is the most important county in the entire state, Republican. Even if places like Tucson, Pima, and Santa Cruz become more Republican as time goes by because of Latino trends, well, they still have this problem, which is, of course, Maricopa County. Maricopa County is the bellwether county for the state. Trump lost Maricopa County, he lost the state. Kelly Lake lost Maricopa County, he lost the state. Blake Masters lost Maricopa County by the same margin as he lost the state. So Maricopa County is the most important county to, of course, win. And Maricopa County is trending towards the Democrats, which means if it is trending towards Democrats are likely going to win the state, despite Republicans doing the best they can to get as much votes. And I think the problem is lying weight on the Republican Party. Many of the Republicans that are running attacked, of course, John McCain, who is a popular figure in Arizona. I think they're going to quickly realize they can't attack John McCain in the state and think they can win, because a lot of John McCain's fans are going to vote Democrat or not vote at all, or even vote for the Libertarian as well. So yeah, I think this is a very thing that they have to warn in Arizona. They don't have to take so long to vote, but again, I think if Rick did not insult McCain so many times, he would have won the governorship of Arizona. So yeah, next state that is trending more blue is, of course, Colorado. Of course, this is another favorite destination. This is basically the favorite Democrat destination state. This is basically the Democrat version of Florida. Okay, but Florida doesn't have it. But of course, Colorado doesn't have beaches. But Democrats are always doing much better. This is basically a safe blue state now. You still have your rural areas but even many of the lesser populated areas, a lot of Democrats, a lot of young people, a lot of college people, and of course a lot of immigrants, which are trained to the right, so that doesn't really matter. A lot of Hispanics are trained towards the right, so that doesn't really matter. But it really is more liberal people are the ones moving. So basically, there's a right-wing destination state, which is, of course, Florida, and a left-wing destination state, which is, of course, Colorado. Okay, this is a state that, of course, Democrats are probably going to continue reigning in for decades, for generations to come. it used to be a Republican state, but I think unless there's a massive shift in, of course, younger people, I think Colorado as a state is going to stay a Democrat state. And yeah, this is a state that is going to stay a Democrat state. So yeah, number 4 states is Michigan. So Michigan, I don't know anyone who actually likes the state of Michigan, but again, the state of Michigan, this was an abysmal performance for Republicans. So basically, there was a very big chance that the performance that Trump had in Michigan was a fluke. Unlike Pennsylvania, which I think Pennsylvania is just a purple state, it just is a purple state, and they really need to do better with the base in Pennsylvania. Yeah, but this is just abysmal performance. Republicans also lost all the swing races, which they could have easily won by even worse margins than they usually sort of won. They still did better in many of these states, but now the Republicans control the Democrats control both chambers of Michigan, and also Michigan has an Among Us district, which is why do we have an Among Us district? But again, this is a state that is, again, still probably going to stay a blue state. Again, if Republicans replicate what happened with Trump in 2016, they might win Michigan again, but a lot of the working class voters stayed home and didn't vote in this state in this election as well. So Michigan is a state that is no longer is going away for the Republicans. And the last state is, of course, the state of Georgia. Obviously, we have to talk about the state of Georgia as well. So, yeah, the state of Georgia is going away for for Republicans. Brian Kemp still did pretty bad in the Atlanta area. And, yeah, the Atlanta area is basically becoming the big area of Georgia. It's becoming a big city. And this might become another state like New York and Illinois in the future. And also, Atlanta has a large black population, which is why Stacey Abrams won a lot of Atlanta, because a lot of this area has a large black population as well. And actually, Republicans did better in these areas, which is basically the black belt, but they did way worse in places in the Atlanta area as well. Well, so this area I think will continue trending towards the Democrats and trend away from the Republicans. But again, there was a possibility that things might turn a corner. Again, there were some states that we thought were going to become Democrat states, but the trend towards the Republicans. But Arizona and Georgia, I think, are 2 states. Again, it is not as bad as the Democrats go, with Illinois, California, and New York. But California and New York are the worst performances in decades. Same in Illinois, is the worst performance in a decade as well. But Republicans actually did pretty good. Again, Stacey Abrams is not. It's kind of like the Sarah Palin of Georgia. She was a rising star in 2018. She barely lost, and she lost by almost a safe margin. I think if they won, of course, Stacey Abrams, she's not going to win. She's not liked throughout the state. She's getting more and more unpopular throughout the state as time goes on, but as well. So, yeah, I think eventually the state will become a Democrat state. So, Democrat state. But again, if Republicans keep doing better in states like New York and Illinois, they could mitigate the losses in places like Michigan and other states. But most of the states are either swing states like Arizona, Georgia, and Michigan. Of course, Kansas is a safe Republican state that's going away for the Republicans. But I think the more concerning thing is stuff like, New York for Democrats. I think Democrats have more reason to be concerned with Republicans because places like New York are becoming more and more Republican and more competitive as well. So, yeah, that is basically what this video. Goodbye.